Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and it's been a while since we've, checked this out, right? GamePress's, tier list, right, in the game. And, yeah, some folks asked me to, check it out again, because it's changed a lot, and ever since I, last did, the video, going over it when it was actually kind of funny, and not, like, a serious thing, where that, I think, like, pincer at like second tier or something. But anyways, that was a fun video. But yeah, afterwards the site lead for GamePress actually DM'd me and we talked about it, right? And he actually thanked me for pointing out the things. So he went over and sort of overhauled everything, redid everything, and made sure everything was in order and made a bit more sense. Right? So yeah, shout out to them. Really great at taking criticism, all that stuff. Which is pretty cool. So anyways, let's check it again. Check it out again. After, I don't know, it's been a while, and see if it's any good. I don't know, or if it's still funny. But yeah, we're gonna check out Physical Striker tier list here today, and let's get into this, I guess. Yeah, good graphic though, cool graphic. Anyways, so starting this off, tier list overview. The sync pairs are the damage dealers of the party with focus on dealing physical based damage. These sync pairs tend to be more focused on dealing single target damage. What does that mean? More focus on, I mean, there are AoE physical units. I don't know what that means. All right, TP equals tier points. Attack is attack. Pivotal stat, attack. I don't know. I don't really know if this, like, I don't know what they mean by this. Pivotal stat is attack. Does that mean like they put emphasis on how high your attack stat is? Because I personally don't think that should be like a huge emphasis. Like, I think the end result, end damage output should be a bit more relevant than however much number your attack stat is, which I personally don't really care about. Anyways, moving down, we're at tier points. So 41 points to 909 points are at tier 1, 32 points. How do they calculate these though? Let me see. Hopefully they mentioned it. They overrules. Tier list overview. So nature, obviously. Yep. Agree. True. Pairs are categorized not by their formal in-game description, but their prominent metagame role. Each tier is ordered from left to right, leftmost pair being the first. Oh, they order these. I don't really like ordering units in tiers, but they do that, so okay. Placements are based on a variety of factors, including a pair's versatility, mathematical potential for damage when applicable, accessibility. Yeah, I don't like accessibility. I don't like that. Because here's the thing, when you're actually playing the game, obviously accessibility very important, but when we're just or trying our best to like look at a unit on how great they are in their own right, I don't think, like I don't think like Empoleon should get extra points over Kyogre because Kyogre is a 1% mass fair and Empoleon's free. I think we should evaluate them at their full strengths. And yeah, again, I'm not a huge fan of the accessibility factor. And the competition they face in their niches. The competition thing is also tricky, right? Because here's the thing. All the water type damage deals are good. Even Chris. All the water type damage. Oh, okay, the ones that have grids, maybe not like Seabolt, but like, okay, not all the water type damage dealers with grids are very good. However, there's only there's only like about 3 that are in the most optimal like rain team. Does that mean all the other ones are just straight up unusable? And especially, with Pog being free and all that stuff, and that goes back to the accessibility factor, right? Does that mean they're all all the other ones are just not good. I don't think so. I think they're all really, they're all great in their own right. It's again, it's like stuff like Nessa. Nessa, you can't put it on the optimal rain team. However, Nessa's very, very, very good in its own right. Even, there are people who make the argument that either, Palkia or May shouldn't be in the optimal rain team because you want like Blastoise, Archie plus one of either May and Palkia. There's people on both sides of that, right? And does that mean, May should lose a lot of points or Palkia should lose a lot of points because they're not on the optimal rain team? It's a tricky thing. I'm not blaming them for it. It's a tricky thing to navigate, right? Each pair is evaluated on the assumption that its sync level and power up counts are at the minimum level necessary for. Oh, okay. I would usually do maximum, but I mean, there really isn't much difference, I guess. But the commitment required to reach this point factoring to set evaluation. I would assume they count EXs though, because they said effective fulfillment of its role. I would assume they'd count EXs if applicable. Explanation of nominal provided for below tier 3 is their inclusion prize diminishing returns for larger work role possible. Okay, that's fair. Anyways, let's check it out then. Let's check it out. So, tier 1, number 1, we have Groudon. Completely agree. Groudon is easily the best, physical striker in the game, by far. Right, outside of doing absolute bonkers damage, has good gauge management overall. Right, 2 really, really great coverage moves. Comes in with weather, extends weather, which is an incredibly broken ability. Has a master passive to buff your team's physical attack from like 20% up to 50% with extra physical damage reduction to your team. Like Groudon is just insane, right? On top of easily max out its own offensive stats. Okay, except for special attack, it's +4 special attack. But yeah, Groudon is easily the best physical striker. No disagreements there. Number 2, they have Zekrom. Oh, and only 0.5 TP lower. Zekrom is good. Zekrom is very, very good, right? Good damage, all that stuff. Really, really good damage, in fact. I don't know if it's anywhere close to like Groudon though, however. Is it the second best physical? Because here's the thing. In this game, special strikers overall are just so much better than physical strikers. Like your second best physical striker, it could theoretically be like N and Zekrom, which is good, but not like, I mean, like special strikers you have like Archie, Leon, Singsu Red, Dragonite, on and on and on, Gardevoir, like non-stop, just absolute like bonkers, strikers. And then like physical, there's like Groudon, and then and then next is like Zekrom. Which again, I'm not saying Zekrom's bad. Zekrom's very, very, very good, but it's not like next level. I don't really think it's like next level great. Because like its downsides are not very fun, I'd say. But could it be the second best physical striker? Maybe. I would say I do like Hilbert Mighty a bit better, even though Hilbert Mighty does nowhere the damage that Zekrom does. But it is a much better functioning as a sync pair, especially if you're running two damage dealer comps. Hilbert's one of the best for those, right? On top of being very fast, as spur on, right? Don't need to worry about bringing like a secondary. Or worrying too much about like figuring out the support for offensive buffs. You got a defense down, which is really, really nice as well. A lot of great things Hilbert does. But if you say Zekrom's better, I wouldn't have that much of an issue about that. But I don't think Zekrom's much close to where Groudon is though. Anyways, moving on. At number 3, they have Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd is very good. There's no denying that. Sirfetch'd is a great unit. I don't know. I don't think no. I definitely wouldn't put it above Mighty Una personally. The thing with Sirfetch'd is like great sync nuke, all that stuff. But like, it is 4 gauge. It's not that fast. You do get gauges back, which is really, really, really nice, right? You do get gauges back, which helps. And it is relatively self-sufficient if you care about that, which I personally don't really. And when talking about the individual unit, it is more important when we're talking about team comps overall. But the thing with, like, Surfetch just doesn't do it like good DPS at all. Surfetch's DPS is, well, I wouldn't say it's not great at all, but like if you compare it to like any of like the other fighting types, like Lopunny or Gallade, all that stuff, I think they're just much better DPS. Which I'm not saying that they're better overall units than Surfetch, because I do think Surfetch might be. I don't know about like Surfetch and Lopunny just has like so many great things though. But is it like really that usually third best? It's definitely up there. I don't know if it's third best though. But again, I generally don't have too many issues with the tier 1, I guess. I'm trying my best not to be super picky here. Anyways, tier 2. We have Hilbert Mightyena, Metagross. No issues with these two. These two are fine, I think, right? Then we got Zacian. And Ice even. I'd have Ice even higher than Zacian. Zacian, I love using Zacian. However, I also very much acknowledge its issues, which is the damage is low. Low damage, unless you wait till your opponent sinks, which one of two scenarios, right? Either you pick up sync with countdowns on the opponent, which deliberately hurts your team survivability, but it does increase the damage output, or B, you wait for the opponent to sink, which is kind of telling about your team if you can't clear it before they sink, or can't clear the stage before we're talking about master mode here, right? Before they sink, or that just means like your team just doesn't have that much offensive firepower overall, and there's just so many turns before they sink, right? So there's so many turns you don't get that extra multiplier with Zacian, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I do like Zacian. I don't think it should be this high though. Sand Slash is fine, I guess. Downside of Sand Slash does not do too much damage, which is sad. But you know, the hail on sync is just so good, right? Although I guess there could be an argument made for just hail teams just aren't that great overall, so like maybe it could be lower, which I could also agree with, I guess. Moving on, Garchomp, Lopunny. I definitely move Lopunny much higher than most of these down here, right? Garchomp. We've talked about my issues with Garchomp. It's still good. I don't think it's like tier 2 good though, but it's fine. I don't want to relitigate that. Sharpedo is fine. Tier 3. Yeah, this is a big disagree for me. This is probably the biggest disagreement I have so far. Haxorus should not be this high. Haxorus does not do that much damage. It does not do that much damage, and just really doesn't have that many upsides, honestly, right? And on top of that, you do have like that extra turn of setting up your first outrage for confusion boon as well, which kind of sucks. And it's not like you don't really do much damage on your sync either. So like if you look at like, if for example Olivia, and Olivia's not that great either, but if you compare like Olivia to Haxorus, right? They both don't do that much damage on their regular moves. However, I do think does Haxorus do a bit more than Olivia? Let me check real quick. Haxorus. Regardless, anyways, both of them not very high DPS units, but like on the other hand, like Olivia has a pretty mean nuke in comparison to like Haxorus, which doesn't really have that, right? Does not really have that. They did put them at the same TP, but I think Olivia's much better than Haxorus. And I'm not too high on Olivia either, but like I really don't think Haxorus is that great. Moving on, Emboar. Oh, I think Emboar is easily better than Lycanroc and or Haxorus. Again, their tier list again constructed differently than mine. They did mention, you know, they did put an emphasis on like, you know, value over replacement, all that stuff, right? In terms of the unit in comparison to like some other units that are like trying to like compete with, right? In their same type, which obviously there's much more competition with Embor than say Lycan Rock, right? With ground or with rock types. Rock types does not have too much. But as a unit itself, Hilda Embor is much better, right? I mean, much stronger DPS, you know, stronger, I don't know, everything basically. I think Lycan Rock's faster, I guess, but not by much, I don't think, right? If I remember correctly. And then on top of that, Hilbert, or not Hilbert, Hilda also has like potions and stuff, right? Which is nice. But yeah, I definitely think you know, Embor should probably be a bit better. Moving on, Zipstrike, I'd also say Zipstrike is probably a bit better than Olivia as well, and obviously much better than Hires. I don't why do they? You know what? I think they have explanations somewhere. We'll go check the explanations after we go through the list. Decidueye, I wouldn't put Decidueye up there. I mean, if you compare Decidueye with either Lycan Rock, Embor, or Zipstrike, like the numbers are just not really close, unfortunately. Drifblim. Yeah, I'd also not put Drifblim here either. There are people who swear by Drifblim, which is kind of sad, because like here's the thing, right? There's two ways to play Drifblim. Either you run Phantom Force Drifblim, or you run Shadow Ball Sync Nuke Drifblim, right? You can't run Phantom Force Sync Nuke Drift. Okay, you can technically, but here's the thing with Phantom Force Sync Nuke Drifblim is Phantom Force deliberately decreases your blind spot sync nuke damage. If you're wondering how does that work? Well, because it delays your turns, so you get less sync nukes in. The less sync nukes in, obviously, the less damage you do overall with your sync nukes. And on the other hand, Shadow Ball just does no damage, absolutely no damage. But people say, oh well, he could, you know, clear, you know, EX Drifblim could clear 1.5k Ghost Week Master Mode with one sync. Well, yeah, a lot of sync nukers do that. It's not like something, you know, special that Drifblim has. It doesn't, you clearing a Master Mode stage doesn't really make you that much better, right? Because a lot of units in this game can clear Master Mode. But yeah, I'd drop Iris, Celine, and Morty down one. I should probably just have these three here, maybe. Yeah, anyways, moving on. Jigglypuff is fine there, I guess. Fraligator's fine there. Lucario's fine. Golisopod, Braviary are fine, I'd say. Like, for example, Fraligator. Fraligator's, again, there is the thing with, has so much competition with water type units, but if you look at the unit itself, it is much better than Drifblim, Decidueye, well, once it gets the EX, anyways, and Haxorus, even without EX, honestly. Anyways, moving on, tier 5. This is probably pre-grid Solgaleo. There's no way post-grid Solgaleo is this low. Although I'm not saying it's going to be like that much higher, but I'd say pre-grid Solgaleo is better than Dugtrio. I'd say pre-grid Solgaleo is better than Dugtrio, but that's difference not that big. Scolipede is better than Mudsdale, I agree. Oh, here's Nolan Pinsir. All right, they fixed Nolan Pinsir. All right, that's a win for me. That's a big dub there. All right, I think we're good now. Bruno Machamp. I'd say Machamp is a bit better than Pinsir, but not the biggest deal in the world. Rampardos, Conkeldurr. I'd say Conkeldurr is better than Rampardos. I'd say Solrock's better than Rampardos too. Mega Beedrill, Toucan. I'd say Tyranitar's better. Why is Rampardos so high? Damn, negative TP. But yeah, I'm not really hot. Like, okay, yeah, Rampardos does a lot of damage, but like this guy one-shots itself. Avalox. Slacking's the worst is a very base take, right? Slacking is easily the worst striker in the game. Not just physical striker, just striker overall. All right, let me see if I could find their explanation page for you so we could look at them a bit further. Alright, so I found their explanation page, so we can look at these. Let's just take a look at Zekrom first. Again, Zekrom is fine. Let's look at the explanation. I'm not saying Zekrom is bad. Zekrom, I personally don't think I would put Zekrom at number 2, but I wouldn't argue with putting Zekrom at number 2 either. I'm completely fine with anyone putting Zekrom at number 2. Second best physical striker. Let's see. The easiest way it considers Zekrom's place in the meta is to conceptualize it as a modernized Garchomp? They're completely different. Like, Garchomp's a big, like, you know, Zekrom, the biggest thing that Zekrom has over Garchomp is, you know, the thing is, it's single target versus AoE, right? And Garchomp's much faster than Zekrom. Zekrom's very slow, obviously. Garchomp does heavily rely on having Sandstorm. On the other hand, if Zekrom doesn't have Electric Train, I think he's fine because he doesn't it's, I don't know, I guess it's just rare just as rare typing. Is it rare? There's a lot of electric. You got Howl, Zubstrike, obviously Zekrom. You know, you can do some damage with Luxray if you want. Mew, Thunder Mew, Thunder Six Ulisa. Slightly underrated. Not that it's, you know, serious damage dealer, obviously. A more useful terrain partner, that's for sure. Luxray is much better than Ace Roll. And the single target, they did talk about that. Wait, what's the what? But Garchomp isn't single target though. Anyways, with the introduction of more and more powerful combination tanks, the old problem of finding a third wheel for Zekrom and Luxray has largely disappeared. That wasn't an issue for Zekrom and Luxray, because you tank with Luxray. You tank with Luxray before you tank with Luxray now. Right? You don't tank with Hildur, you tank with Luxray. Leaving the team at the forefront of the meta that has never been accommodating with squishier striker tech duos. Luxray's not squishy! What? Ignore my arachnid grid. Let's see, where's Luxray? Like, you know, you have really good HP, obviously. The defenses aren't bad, but like the big thing is you have Electro Repulsion 3, which gives you a 30% damage reduction in Electric Terrain, which is a lot. On top of, where is it? You have First Aid here. If you pick that up if you want. But yeah, I don't see Shock Recovery. You heal in it. This thing's not squishy. Anyways, whatever. All right, that's fine. Okay. I don't think I agree that much with the explanation, but Surfetch, Sync Nukes, Passing Fair. This is fair. This is very fair. Whoops. Beat on the dominates niche fighting type striker. That is also true. But acts as an excellent centerpiece for pretty much any defensive core. Most spikes, assist damage, but he gives us a look at future Pokemon's power creep, which is simply choosing both. Okay. I mean, there's been like a lot of really great DPS plus nuke units on the game, like Zekrom, right? Or I don't know. There's a lot of units that do that. Sharpedo, right? Moving on. Is there any big ones that we really have issues with here? I would really want to know Mega Lopunny's explanation, but they don't have it, unfortunately. Let's check with Garchomp's, I guess. That's true. Also true. Wait, all this negative stuff, then why is it this high? Like, none of these are all true. I don't disagree with any of these. Weather focused comps have been relevant when they're a common ground type. Oh, they just talk about they have it up in the types, I guess. Yeah. I still don't have this high though. Anyways, okay, here's the big one. Iris Haxorus. Lucky skill, less confusion, line finding what wanted, mitigation effects of confusion, losing all those bonuses. Now that we have that, it started to see a great amount of use. A totally self-sufficient striker, which makes up for its lackluster stats through a monstrously powerful moveset and synchro. How is it monstrously powerful? Karen in particular has made such a consistent battle ability force through. I think it is good for a battle. Although honestly, nowadays, there's just so many greater there's just so many better battle ability units, right? Like Zacian's better, Surfetch is better, right? Leon, Marnie, Palkia, right, which is free by the way. Xerneas, like there's so many great better, much better. Hilbert, right? Mighty unit. Better battle units. It's fine for new players. It's a fine unit for new players, but I mean, if you're like evaluating like on how powerful it is, I would not have it anywhere this high. Anyways, what's Morty's Drifblim? Solid mix attacking sync nuker. Man, I don't know about solid, fam. Nothing outside, but does well. It goes unique. Fan force time career, guaranteed vision, sharper chance. What? There's a lot of units that have the 20% special defense down. Rare typing. Okay, so they base a lot of these on like typing and stuff, I guess. I don't agree with the solo thing. Like, yes, you could clear stages solo with Morty Drifblim. However, that's not an optimal way of clearing a stage. It takes one, way too much, way too long, two, a lot of luck, right? And it's just not as powerful if you run an actual team, all right? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's most of the like big ones. I don't have an explanation for these. Much improvement from last time, I'd say. Much better than last time. That's for sure. Still a few issues here and there, but again, you know, no one could ever 100% agree on these things, right? I mean, I don't even agree with the ones that our team puts out every time, right? A lot. So it is what it is, right? So yeah, shout outs, I guess. Good on them for working these out a bit. Again, still a few things that like sort of irk me here and there, but again, personal differences, I guess, whatever. And again, differences in how these tier lists are structured overall. I don't hold any grievances. So anyways, that's me for this one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know guys think in the comments down below. Like me, videos for my channel for some more Pokemon content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.